All right, let's also review again a stem and leaf plot by doing it manually. And it's again a back-to-back stem and leaf plot. Let's say we have two grades, grade 1 and grade 2, might be female and male or morning class, afternoon class. And then the stems are obviously the tens, like 60s, 70s, 80s, and the hundreds. So we can quickly add that. Let's start with grade 1. So, okay, there's a 60, so we put here a 0. And then we have in the 60s a 2 and a 6. Okay, now the 70s, so we have a 0, 1, 5, 5, 5. So 0, 1, 5, 5, 5, so 3 5s, and there's a 9 for the 79. Then the 80s, we have two zeros, 80, 80, so 0, 0. Then we have a 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, so 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and we have a 5 and a 6. Then we go to the 90s. What do we have? 0, 0, 0, so 3 zeros, 0, 0, 0. Then we have two 93s, 3, 3, and a 94. And for the 100 we have 1. So let's double check that we have 25 observations, because we have 25 observations here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, so that's correct. So now let's do the same thing for grade 2. So there's a 60, nothing else, so 1, 0. Then we have the 70s, a 0 to 7, 0 to 7. Then from the 80s, we have two zeros, two 2s, and a 3. So 2 zeros, 2 2s, and a 3. And then we have a 6 and an 8. Or then we have the 90s, two zeros, two 1s, 90, 90, 91, 91. Then we have a 94 and two 96. And actually two 96s. And we have 1, 2, 3 98s. And even a 99, and we have 200s. Okay, so let's double check that I didn't do a mistake. We should have 25 observations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, oops, 23, 24, hold on, 0, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Oh my goodness, made a mistake. 70, 72, 70, 80, 1, 2, 2 82s, 83, 86, 88, 2 90s, 1, 2, 2 91s, 94, 1, 2, 96, that's correct, 1, 2, 3 98s. Oh, I forgot the 99. Okay, so now it's correct. So now a stem and leaf plot and a histogram, it is useful for sensing the distribution of data. So now if I put here some kind of an envelope around, then and then if you tilt your head like this, you can see a little bit the distribution. And now we do the same thing here. So now what can you see? Well, just visually you can already see that grade 2 must have a higher average. And overall, whoever is in the grade 2 sample, they seem to outperform the ones in the grade 1. So that's why a stem and leaf plot, especially back-to-back stem and leaf plots, they are really useful in order to see differences in things like the average or the mean, and can be nicely visualized. And of course we can later verify with numerical statistics like mean and median. Okay, so there's one other still thing that I want to talk about, which is a little bit of stem and leaf plot criminology, because there used to be once a very famous, a relatively famous paper, the so-called Pearce and Pratt study, in which a stem and leaf plot played an important role. And Pearce, one of the researchers, claimed to have extrasensory perception. And to test his claim, he let his colleague, by the name of Pratt, read from a deck of 50 cards the respective symbol. And there were 5 different symbols equally distributed in the deck. And Pearce claimed to be in a different room when Pratt read the deck of the cards. So imagine that there was Pearce, the main researcher, and he gave his colleague Pratt a deck of 50 cards, and each card could have one of 5 symbols. And then Pratt would sit in a room and always reveal one card and write down the symbol that Pratt saw, and Pearce, the other researcher, would sit in a different room, presumably, and try to sense what Pratt is seeing. And then the Pearce reported the results of the various trials in a stem and leaf plot. So how to read that table? So Pearce claimed that, so first of all, we can see from the stem and leaf plot how many experiments they conducted. So one experiment is reading the deck of 50 cards several times, mainly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, so 34 times. So Pratt had to sit in a different room 34 times, and each time go through a deck of 50 cards, write down the symbol that he sees, and Pearce, sitting in a different room, would write it down. So out of the 34 experiments, so there were like 34 experiments, and in each experiment Pratt had to go through the 50 cards, write them down, and Pearce had to sense what Pratt see. And the results of the 34 experiments were such that one time Pearce could only get 3 cards right. Twice 5, once 6, 3 times 1, 2, 3, 8, and 4 times he got 9 right. Okay, so now here this is interesting. Not a single time he guessed 10 right. But of course, if one card has a probability of being guessed correctly, just randomly, of 0.2, 20%, So the probability of guessing one card right is 0.2, 20%. Then if you look at 50 cards, you would think that if you just randomly guess, you would get at least 10 right just by pure randomness. So that would be the expected outcome. But you know what is really interesting, that Pearce didn't have that once, which is the statistically most likely outcome. Well, instead he reported that he got 4 times 13 right, twice 14, once 15 times, once 16 times, twice 17 times, and even once, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 times he guessed 20 cards right, and one time even 21, 3 times 23, and once even 24 times. He guessed 24 times right once what Pratt saw. And of course people got a little bit skeptical because this one was missing, and then people started to suspect that maybe they simply cheated, and at least Pearce cheated, and this is exactly what was the case. So Pearce was eventually identified as a cheater, and what he did, he set up the room where he could somehow peek into what Pratt was reading. And so anyhow, so the entire Pearce and Pratt study was a complete fabrication of the results, and what really caused people to get skeptical is that the statistically most likely outcome wasn't really reported once, and of course by, I don't know, modern standards, one would argue that this entire study was a little bit a bogus study, unless somebody really deeply believes in extrasensory perception. But anyhow, so you know, it's a good example here to look at this Pearce and Pratt study to get a feeling what data can convey, even if it is like suspicious data. Okay, so let's just stop here, and in the next video we will look a little bit closer into what we did earlier, which is like looking at the shape of distributions.